how many years you are working
Almost 3 years.
exactly?
3 years.
So from the beginning, you are working with React.js.
Initial 6 months, I was in training, so uh, there I like it was training period. So after that, I moved to React.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Do you have experience with React Native?
No, for mobile application, I never worked.
Okay, okay. Do you have experience with TypeScript?
I worked on JavaScript.
Only JavaScript.
Mhm.
So in all your projects,
Yes,
you
yes.
never used TypeScript.
No,
Huh?
no, no.
Okay. Do you know something about TypeScript? Have you learned
Uh,
anything about TypeScript?
no, I never get chance to dig into it.
Okay, got it. Okay, so what is the state and props in React.js?
State and props, for example, state we can manage internally, and for example, if you want to send the data from one component to another, we need to send the data as a props, but state we can't pass.
Mm-hmm. So what is the purpose of state?
Purpose to maintain the it's kind of variable, you can say. React know like
Okay,
every change of state component should render the content without refresh and this kind of stuff.
okay. So in functional component,
Mhm.
what is the difference between normal variable and state variable?
Yeah, for example, if we are using normal javascript variable and that variable is going to change, that will not reflect on our own UI, but if we are changing the state,
Uh-huh.
that will reflect.
Okay, okay. Um, so what is the main difference between class component and functional component? When you
So
will use functional component and when will you use class component?
the main difference is
Any key difference between?
the main difference is there is no lifecycle method in functional component. All the lifecycle methods are handled by that hooks, like use effect. But in class component,
Okay,
there are lifecycle methods like component mount, component date, and should update this type of lifecycle method. But in functional component, there is no lifecycle methods. And I think for compiler first class based component first convert into function component, then it will compile only, that is the advantage of using functional component.
so what you're saying, class component will convert it to functional component.
Yeah, during compilation time.
Okay, so that's the disadvantage for class component, right?
Yes, yes, because there is extra
Okay,
conversion.
okay.
Also, like function
So
component are
what
easy
is
to
the
understand.
use?
Mhm.
Sorry. Go on.
Function component are like easy to understand. It's normal JavaScript function, so code readability is more in functional component, and there is hooks we can use in functional component, but in class based component we can't use hooks.
Okay. So what is unidirectional data flow in React JS means?
Unidirectional data flow means we can pass the data from parent to child only. Like data is grow from
Okay.
parent to child to another child, not from child to parent. That means like unidirection.
Okay. So how will you handle data binding with this unidirectional data flow pattern?
So
So let's
basically,
assume you need to
mhm.
pass some value from, sorry to interrupt. So, for example, we need to pass some data from child to parent. So
Mm-hmm.
in Angular, we use a two-way data binding to achieve this. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but here in React, we have unidirectional data flow pattern. So how will you pass data from child to parent?
So there is a way, like you can say it a callback function. We can define the callback function and we can pass the data from child to parent. Apart from this, this is like a basic approach. We can use callback methods. Other than this, we can manage the states globally. Like we can use context hook for that. So from
Uh-huh.
that we can pass the data from anywhere. We can get the states from one file and we can use that state
Okay.
all over the application.
Okay. Okay. Great. Okay. Have you used Redux?
Like
You mentioned
in
about context. Context hook is very good. Okay. Have you used Redux other than context?
other than context, I 6 months I worked in one project. I used Mobex state tree. It's also like a global state management system, but Redux I did not get chance.
Mm-hmm.
So in Mobex state tree and
Okay.
context I have used for globally.
Okay. So what is the use of use effect hook?
Use effect hook like same I as I earlier told, this will work as a life cycle method. For example, if we want any component to render first time only, then we can use effect with the array dependency as blank, then the component will render only first time. And if you want to on every state change the component should render, then we can pass that state into array dependency. So uh, that component will re-render on that state change.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from this, like we can add some cleanup activity, after like if the component is unmounting, we can add some return statement into use effect, so that will call after unmounting that component.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Um, okay. So have you heard about render prop
Sorry, your voice is breaking.
render prop
Render
render
proof.
prop? Have you heard about it? Yeah, in React. Render prop.
mm, no.
Okay. So, okay. How will you inherit something like in React.js? Everything is a functional component or class component, right? So everything is a
Mm-hmm.
component basically.
Mm-hmm.
So let's assume we have a scenario. So in normal OOPS system or in Java or any other language, what we used to do is we define a parent class. Okay. So for example, we define animal class like it has four legs, two eyes like that. We have a common property in parent class, and we will inherit those features into our specific child class. Like for example, if we need a cat class, we will inherit animal class, which will have all the common properties there. Cat class, you will develop the only cat features in that particular class, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this is the way we used to inherit parent and child class. How will you achieve the same scenario in React? Since we have everything as component here, so how will you inherit? Let's assume we are going to develop five components, okay?
Mm-hmm.
In our application, five pages of five components. All five component has the same set of properties or features common across these five component. So you don't need to repeat the same piece of code. So how will you achieve this?
Like one way is we can create a custom hooks. So we can create a custom hook of that component and we can use that hook everywhere we need that. Okay, so other than like I did not
Okay.
remember the name of that.
Can you give me any example for custom hook? Can you explain me more about custom hook?
For example, if we have a button, right, that button should have a blue color. Okay, and that button we need to use all over the application, right? So
Okay.
for that button we can create a separate component, and we can create hook for that, like use button. So that use button we can place in a common folder, and we can use that use button all over the application. Like we can just pass the content of that button, and it will render with the same styles and other css. So there is no need to
Mm-hmm.
define the css again and again.
Okay,
So
got it. Okay.
so this is the one
So
way.
this is the one way to achieve this. What else?
Apart from this, like I did not remember the name of that component. uh, like we can pass component itself, higher order components, you can say. Yeah,
Correct, correct. Okay. Mm.
yeah, higher with
So
the higher order component we
what
can
is the
achieve
purpose
that.
of higher?
So basically in higher order
Okay.
component we pass the component itself, and we can do the modification on that component, and in return it will give us a component only. Like for example, I'm passing one
Mm.
button to it, and in higher order component I'm writing the css of that component. So it will apply that css to our component and return the modified component to us. So that will work as a higher order component, hoc, you can say.
Okay, got it. Okay, good. Okay. Okay, what is spread operator in JavaScript?
Spread operator is like basically used to uh, push the elements into JavaScript array. For example, if we have an array of 1 to 3, okay, and we want to
Uh-huh.
add one more element like 4. So instead of using dot push, we can directly use three dots with the variable a comma 4. So it will automatically push 4 into an array
Okay, what is
a.
the advantage of using spread operator over push? What you're saying is in an array we have three elements, one, two, three, and you need to add four to this array. Okay,
Hmm, hmm,
so we
hmm.
can achieve this by push function.
Hmm.
Why are you using spread function? What is the purpose of using spread function here? Spread operator here.
Mm, I think in React, if I am using push dot push, it will not work. Like it will push, but it will not reflect on the UI itself. But with the spread,
Why?
mm, I don't know like exact reason, but I noticed this.
Okay, okay. So what is virtual DOM in React and how it differs from real DOM?
Like virtual DOM means like only changes will re-render. For example, if we have a page, in that page there are four components: top header, side header, footer, and main window, right? And for example, these top header, side header, and footer will remain always same all over the application, right? And if we only main window
Mm-hmm.
will change. So apart from rendering all the four components again, virtual DOM only changes will re-render. Like top, side, and footer will remain same. Only changes will re-render. Only main window will re-render. So that will like reduce the load time of our application.
Okay, 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 okay. Okay, cool, Sahil. In our next call, I will assign you a task. Okay.
Okay.
It's a React-based task,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to complete it within 45 minutes.
Okay.
Are you comfortable with this round?
Yeah, yeah, that will
So
be
you
fine.
need to
Like,
share your screen and you need to develop this. You can use Google.
mm-hmm,
So it will be a basic task.
mm-hmm,
You need to use your Visual Studio and
mm-hmm.
need to develop it from scratch.
Okay, okay, no problem. So when